In this module, we are looking at assessment, and specifically assessment supported by technology. This is a very full module. If the module before about capturing your instruction, if you thought it had a lot of different ways of doing it, this one is really full. But let me give you a sense of what we're talking about here. So when you go into this module, what you will see is we talk a lot about technology use and formative assessment. And in fact, most everything that we look at in here is around the idea of formative assessment. And formative and summative are related in the sense that formative is what you do as you teach, and summative is what you do when you're finished teaching and you want to see if the kids have gotten it. But down here I also have included something called ipsative assessment. Ipsative assessment is something we use constantly. We use it all the time. And it's the idea of we set goals for ourselves. Weight loss. I'm going to run the mile a little bit faster. I'm going to go a little bit farther when I jog. I'm going to lift a little more weight. Ipsative assessment. Wouldn't it be fascinating if we could just get kids to set goals and then we would grade them, actually they would grade themselves on how they're doing reaching those goals. So I've left you a whole lot of information here around ipsative assessment. Then we get down here to the actual assessment pieces. I'm going to counsel you to look at using something called Google Forms and Nearpod. Why? Because they're the easiest to move from their creation pieces into your Wikispace web page, web enabled. By now you know the routine. And as you can see here, I've got all kinds of ways. Here's a Google Forms. Lots of directions here. Teaches you how to create quizzes. Creating a quiz in Google Forms is about as silly and easy as it gets. You need to have a Google account, obviously, which most schools now, most school districts are allowing you to have. And you're using the form part of Google Docs to create the test. And these are extremely well done directions on how to do that. So if you're in a school district that really relies upon Google Docs, I would take a good long look at this. The other one that's in here I think you should look at is Nearpod. I've been using Nearpod with students now for a long time. And one of the things that we really like about it is how incredibly powerful it is, and how it allows you to do just about anything you want to do. There's plenty of directions here. Here's how you put it into your Wikispace, and it's live within the Wikispace. Or, as you can see by reading these directions, you can just give kids the code they need, and then they go to the Nearpod lesson that you've created. You'll see this being touted for use by phones and tablets. So let's take a quick tour of Nearpod. I'm not going to spend a lot of time here like we did with VoiceThread, because I think you need to take the time to look at it. But what I wanted to show you was that I'm going to give you access to Nearpod through my login, and feel free to use it. But look what they're doing. They're expanding the ways that you can get into Nearpod through a Google Docs account and through an Office 365 account. They really are doing a great job of letting people into this. Of course, you know how to log in as me. It's sbswan02 at louisville.edu. And then the password is all lowercase ULIT241. And then log in. I'm going to give you just a quick look at how to do this. when I get in, I would look at my library first and look at the amazing things that people who have used my account have made here. Just tons and tons of good stuff here. Be aware that some of these that are in here aren't just mine. They are they're created by Nearpod, and they actually have a cost to them. So just be careful with that. Most of these, though, you just basically move your mouse over, and you can see what they are. You can preview them. You can do a live lesson, and if you want, you can go in and edit it and use it. Let me say that again. If you find one in here that you really like, you can go in and edit it. Make sure you change the name so it reflects it's you, and then watch the video, or not watch the video, read the PowerPoint that I have that tells you how to take it from here and put it into your Wikispace page for this assignment. I'm going to go up here to create real fast just to give you a sense of what you can do with this, because it is amazing. Now, notice the first thing it wants you to do is you can add a slide, and that slide usually is, hi, this is what I've made, and this is who I am. So if we click on add content, you can see that you can just do slide, and there you go. You see, it's allowing you to go in and set the slide up with your name. Very similar to looking to PowerPoint. Nothing fancy here. But then you also can do add web resources. So you can have a web page that's available within your Nearpod. And then with your slide, you can say, read this, read this, read this. So far, we're kind of like, well, what's the big deal here, Steve? And then you get to activities. And oh my, then it all rolls off the table and out the door. This is how you can put in various ways for people to respond to the content in your Nearpod. You can do it with open-ended questions. You can do it with a poll. You can do it with a quiz. You can do it with drawing. Well, when you do this and kids do the Nearpod on a tablet or on their phones, you really have some nice stuff. And you can also do a fill in the blank. It's an amazing tool. I'm going to go back to adding content just to let you see again. Look what you can do. If you have a slideshow, in other words PowerPoint, you can bring that in, and then within the PowerPoint you can insert various like quizzes or activities that kids then respond to. Can you actually add slides into the PowerPoint when you bring it in? Absolutely. You just go in and you go slide and you add it in. Here's your slide editor. And this lets you work with slides that you have already created. This is one of those tools that I could sit here and go for hours. But I'll tell you that the amount of stuff that I have here for you to look at will give you everything you need to know. Also, notice you can put videos in. Look at this. This is the newest thing they've got. You can go on field trips. So they'll put 3D pictures into, and you can search. Let's see what happens if I do a search on Washington, D.C. Looky there. So when I put that into my shot, or sorry, into my presentation, it's going to take a little bit to build it. So that was a very quick Nearpod demo. There are plenty of good videos and written directions in this module, so make sure you look at those. If I'm going to take a Nearpod that I have made and put it into my wiki space. Let me show you how to do that. So I click on it and it says, is this a live lesson or is this a student paste? Live lessons are exactly what you think they are. If you were in a classroom and you wanted kids to take out their phones or to use their iPads or to use their Chromebooks for that matter, you would use the live lesson. For it to be either a homework assignment or if you want to put it somewhere, you go with student paste. And then there's our old friend. And all we have to do is we have to copy the embed code, come to our Wikispaces page, click on the plus sign to create a new page, call the page assessment or whatever you want, create, go into our widget, go down to other HTML, paste in your code, save it, and save it. And now I have a Nearpod in my Wikispace. Again, the reason why we would do this is we would have a complete view of your classroom in this one wiki that we have been working on. All right, so that is assessment. We pretty well focused down on Nearpod. As I said, you can see lots and lots of Nearpod directions here. If you're a Google Docs kind of person and you want to use the Google Docs forms, the directions are in this module as well. Okay, that's it for this module.